staring back. Never look this pretty. Finding peace by losing myself in self-pity. Please forgive me, feeling low. I'm trapped in the cage of expectation.
There's a monster under my bed, and at my window there's a dragon. I accepted the challenge, it turned me into a savage. I broke a promise to myself again. I don't know why I am so vulnerable. They try to help, but I won't let them in. I guess rock bottom's where I'm comfortable. Both my feet planted when most people would have panicked. I embraced the storm. I found beauty in what was damaged. I'm not afraid of the boogeyman. Instead I look at him like he's a friend. There's not a monster out there in the world that's scarier than the one that's within. There's a creature in my closet. I can hear him rumbling around. The demon screaming in the distance creates such a humbling sound. The monster that's outside my window, he's like family to me now. The things that people are afraid of never let me down.
Not to say this, no, but I'm hated so. My religious freaks say I'm the biggest beast and that I made it grow. When I spray this flow, I created mo. Creatures are like when I heat up the mic, I'm a breed of the night, but I'm tainted though. By the darkness I'm blinded, I sparked it and shined it. They find it cause mine is woe. But that they label me a demon seed. Wanna disable Nina, see them bleed. Hinder me fatally and see them grieve, no. You would not believe the creature inside me. If you deceive, Khalifa's lively. We disagree when people defy me or try to take his. Whatever the fuckery toward them, you don't wanna wake this. You forsake his with a sacred, then it's over no matter what your faith is. I'm a creature.
There's a creature in my closet. I can hear him rumbling around. The demon screaming in the distance creates such a humbling sound. The monster that's outside my window, he's like family to me now. The things that people are afraid of never let me down.
I managed to get myself in trouble, all of this pain. Yeah, I'm damn in the dope, dose of liquor's always to blame. If I could keep myself sober, I keep my hands to myself. I take a shot and it's over, that's how I end up in hell. I hope I don't pass it down to my offspring. They get everything from their daddy, feel like I'm addicted to all things. There's no reason to change, gone too far now. And I'm stuck in my ways, back at the bar now. They say I'm a flirt and they right, I ain't perfect, guy. So when I'm thirsty and perking and purposely searching for something that's hurting me so I just can't pack up and go, I just back out of it slow. That's how it go, I knock the back out the hole. And next like I don't know. Okay. I think he be laughing at me, hands be grabbing at me. Feel like God let it happen till we dab it blasphemy. And these be a dab it naturally. Okay, yeah. I think I better let it go. Either that or I gotta let it know. And I can't do that.
There's a creature in my closet. I can hear him rumbling around. The demon screaming in the distance creates such a humbling sound. The monster that's outside my window, he's like family to me now. The things that people are afraid of never let me down.
Good morning. Ooh, we got the echo. I have the Betty Washam microphone. Is that better? So this is a sound check. Let me know if you can hear. I got to turn this. I haven't used this in a while, so my settings are all kind of wonky. Just let me know if you could, if this sounds okay, normal, not too loud, besides that echo that I just had. Just got to make sure my sound's good. Good to see you all. Hello, Flossie, April, Katie. Haven't seen you in a while. Renee, haven't seen you. Good to see you. Hi, Chihuahua Mom. Let's see who else we got here. Lily, Tracy. I don't know if you're all still in here. I know I started a little later than I had anticipated. There you are. Hello, hello. Just waiting to make sure my sound is okay and not too loud. I don't want to blast anyone's eardrums out. I know I just had the echo on by accident. It's been a while. It's been a while. But now you're making me think you can't hear me because nobody's answering. Tracy, does this sound okay? Let's see. Let me see if I change any of my dials. Come on, I haven't used this thing in a while. Y'all gotta tell me if you can hear me good. All right, I'm gonna type now because nobody's answering. Oh, you can hear. Okay, thank you, Chaotic. Thank you. It sounds okay though, not too loud. Hello, Fluffy. Hope you're doing all right. Hope your dad's all right. I've been. Oh, I see you, Chaotic. I can see you now. I can see you. I only saw you when you said you could hear me. I didn't see you above if you were above, but I could have just missed it because I was, when the music was on, I was scrambling to find stuff like usual. I'm always running around. No, I see you. You're good. I can see you changed your picture. That looks cool. So I messed around a little on the art stuff myself, maybe last week. Anyways, I've been pretty busy. I've had a lot of appointments, and then with the season change and everything, I have a big outside hobby with yard work and landscaping. So I've been doing a lot of that. I mean, actually, a while ago, I had this show all set up, and I still have it set up for a whole different story I wanted to tell. And then this whole local crime spree just happened over Memorial Day weekend. So I'm like, I planned on that a few days ago, but then again, more appointments. And then over the weekend, I haven't been around much. It was my birthday weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so I always have do a lot of yard work and stuff for my birthday weekend, and I didn't want to be on here and ruin my birthday, my old birthday. So I wasn't around much because, didn't want to taint it with any negativity or take that chance. So I stayed kind of quiet and just did my thing, my yard work and everything. Bought more plants than I need as usual. Worked on building my waterfalls. If you hear that in the background, no, I'm not peeing. That waterfall, one of them. I usually build 3 of them, set them up anyways in my yard. So I only have 1 done so far. So I do a lot of outside stuff at this time of year. That's another. Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wish. Thank you. Thank you very much. I got to see a couple brothers that I haven't seen in years, and that was a good surprise. So that was good. My brother brought one of his grandbabies that I haven't met and his couple of his daughters. Yeah, so there's a lot of family I don't really see much, so that was good to see them. Oh, hello, Penny. Hope you're okay too. So, like I said, I had a whole other story set up, and it still is, so I could do that separately, depending on time. I don't know when I'll do it or anything like that, but like over the weekend, I just heard a few days ago of this story. So there's a guy local to me that went berserko nuts, and he went on a stabbing spree, and all the places that he went to are all places that I've been going to my whole life. So it was really weird, and I had a couple news clips set up, and then just now, as I was reviewing and making sure I still had the tabs open, I found that he was actually Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace did a little special on him too. So I haven't even got to watch all that because I already had this set up, and I'm like, oh damn, he even made Nancy Grace. So yeah, a young guy that spent a portion of his life. He was born in Agawam, Massachusetts. This guy that went on the crime spree around me, and spent a good amount of time living on Martha's Vineyard, privileged life here, lots of money, drove a Porsche. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him, but his name's Jared Ravizza, and he lived with a 70-year-old man, a roommate, and the roommate's name was Bruce Feldman. And he went on this crime spree on Saturday over Memorial Day weekend. And the crime started in Deep River, Connecticut, and he killed his 70-year-old roommate. He threw a shovel through the window like a spear and stabbed the guy, right? And he even killed the guy's dogs. He stabbed the dogs. Friggin' psycho. So then he proceeded to drive to Braintree, Massachusetts, and he went in a movie theater. I don't know how he got in the movie theater, except, I guess movie theaters aren't really that protected. You could just go in. But he went into a kid's movie, and he stabbed 4 little girls. The mom was trying to grab the kids, but she couldn't grab them all fast enough. And one of the youngest victims was as young as 9 years old. So he stabbed 4 girls in the movie theater at AMC movie theater in Braintree, Mass. And then he proceeded to drive to a McDonald's, which I've been going to my whole life. It has a very recognizable, like a totem pole out front. It's in Plymouth, Massachusetts, right by the exit. And he got out of his Porsche and urinated in the parking lot. And then he proceeded to go to the drive-thru, reached in, lunged at the window, and stabbed a male employee at the drive-thru. And then he got out of his car, went inside, and stabbed another female employee. And then he led police on a high-speed chase, and it ended in Sandwich, Massachusetts, which is right next. It's in Cape Cod. It's right actually near me, where his car crashed. And he just went to court, and he describes himself as a professional model, artist, self-proclaimed businessman, Ravizza Jones Productions. So he's all over social media. Like I said, he thinks he's a model, and he's got like the surfer boy look, as you could see in my thumbnail. But anyways, as I was looking at all this stuff to see if I had it all lined up, I decided to, search a couple more bits of information that I could draw, and I saw that he was on freaking Nancy Grace. I'm going to play a little bit of that. I don't know how much I can play of it or if I could just stop it, but I'll do my good old fair use. Maybe I better do that now. I even updated my fair use. You're going to like it. Mama T, if you're out there, I told you. I still got to use this.
Fair use, 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 fair use.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
What up, Peachy? All right, so Peachy, I just gave an introduction to this crime stabbing spree that this psychopath in my area went on over the weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Actually, the day before my birthday. But I only heard about it a couple days after. So now I have to share my screen, and I'll show you a few of the clips. But I kind of just gave like a brief summary of it all the stabbings he did. And he's actually going to be charged for murder, obviously. He is charged with murder because he got his roommate. Let me see if I got the right order here, because I got a whole bunch of. Now I gotta find which order they're on here on the freaking share screen, because I don't want to get the other ones from the other live I was gonna do. I think this is the first one. Let me just double check. I'm gonna go back over here. I'm a little rusty on this thing because I haven't used it in a while, so let me just check I got the right clips. Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah, okay. Let me stop this one. Let me give you a brief summary, but I might have to wait till the popo's done coming to get me because it's kind of loud. Y'all can probably hear the sirens. It's not even Wednesday. It is not Wednesday. Go away. Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wish. Fluffy, it's my birthday. My birthday. It's funny when you get older, you kind of forget what the age is. You have to think for a minute. Because they don't really matter after you're 21. They don't matter. It's not really as important. I don't know what the hell's wrong with this guy, but here, let's listen to this a little. Oh, you lost me? You lost me? Thank you. Testing. I gotta make sure you can hear me now. Wait a minute. I gotta make sure. Okay, so it broke up. How much broke up? Nothing important, right? Because I didn't play the clip yet. I was just talking about it's a little crazy that all this stuff happened around me, and that this morning, when I already had this live set up, like I said earlier, I didn't even know that it had been on Nancy Grace, I think, last night. So I got that clip pulled up too. And I did my little fair use with the classic Mama T voice because I don't want to get struck by Nancy, because when she is angry, her eyebrows really scare me. So I don't want to piss her off, you know? All right. If you can hear me, if at any point this does that again, please let me know and I will stop it. But let me make this bigger. Make sure my weird screen art isn't blocking it. Is that good? All right. Here we go.
Suspected in a series of terrifying attacks, made his first appearance in court today. Jared Ravizza is accused of a series of stabbings on Saturday at a movie theater in Braintree and at a McDonald's in Plymouth. WBZ's Louisa Moeller spoke with one of the victims.
We briefly saw Jared Ravizza in court with shoulder-length bleach blonde hair in a jumpsuit. The prosecutor asked for him to be held without bail, but the defense said he needs a competency evaluation, so he will stay here until he's seen by a doctor. You can see him in the video here.
There he
The
is.
26-year-old from Chilmark,
Self-proclaimed
is
model.
accused of stabbing 6 people Saturday. Prosecutors say he pulled up to the Plymouth rest stop, got out of his Porsche, publicly urinated, then stabbed a man at the McDonald's drive-thru. After that, he's accused of going inside and behind the McDonald's counter and stabbing another employee. Later, police say he slashed 4 girls at an AMC theater in Braintree. And just a short time ago, he was formally named as a suspect in a homicide in Deep River, Connecticut. Police there said he threw a shovel through a window of a home there. And when police arrived, they found the body of a 70-year-old man. Now, I spoke with one of those McDonald's workers who told me she does not feel safe anymore.
So the 70-year-old man that he stabbed first, that was the roommate. He was for some reason living with this 70-year-old man. I guess there were some sort of roommates, and that was in Connecticut. That was his first victim. So he actually stabbed him to death. And I believe it was done with a shovel that he threw like a spear through the window. And he also, it's not in these clips, but I think it's in one of them. He also killed his dogs. I don't know what the hell's wrong with this guy. And the volume on this, the voice, I think, from this McDonald's employee, I think there's a little bit of a language barrier, so please bear with it.
In Detroit, and he was ordained, and then he was talking with other employers, and later they are fighting, and then he outside from his car, and then he comes to the front door, and he stopped to me, and then I run to the safe room.
Pretty crazy, huh? I'm gonna go to the next one over here. So the next one I have is when he went to court. So he just had his first appearance in Plymouth District Court. But I think for me, the audio on this is terrible. So if you guys can't hear it at all, just let me know and I'll go to the next one. I know I had a hard time hearing it, but it sounds like a court audio problem.
To stay on task and answer the questions as best as he could, but despite that, continue to have difficulty doing so. He was able to answer some basic questions about the nature of his charges and the basic allegations against him. He did demonstrate some factual knowledge about the roles of the personnel in the court and the basic court processes. However, Your Honor, given the extreme delusional nature of his beliefs, he does not demonstrate the rational capacity to work with his attorney on behalf of his own defense in the present matter before the court. Given that, Your Honor, it would be my recommendation that further evaluation per 15B would be recommended, and that this would take place within the strict security of Bridgewater State Hospital, given the very serious nature.
Ooh, Bridgewater State Hospital, not a good one. But anyway, so right now they're just discussing his competency, of course. They're probably going to, the only defense they're probably going to be able to go with it that he's completely crazy. So that's what the judge has ordered, actually. To see if he's even fit. I know, right, Penny?
Okay. The Commonwealth moved to hold the defendant pending a 58A hearing. You wanted to...
Your Honor, provided that the defendant is held without bail in strict security at Bridgewater State Hospital, we have no objection to putting off the dangerousness hearing until such time as he's further evaluated.
Yes. Thank you.
There's clearly something wrong with you if you go around stabbing 7 people across multiple towns.
Yes, Judge. Okay.
On the Commonwealth versus Jared Ravizza, criminal docket 2459 CR 725. Court's going to enter a not guilty plea.
Oh yeah, Bridgewater, Katie, Bridgewater. That's one of the worst ones. Okay, everyone that's been in psych wards and all that knows that Bridgewater State is not a good one. I'll tell you that.
Cap. Your matter stands continued June 17, 2024 for 58A hearing. You're being held without bail. There's a 15B further evaluation taking place at the Bridgewater State Hospital. Commonwealth's oral motion regarding the police report the defendant received that was allowed. Bail call given. Attorney O'Neill was appointed. Fee for that appointment was $150. Held without bail June 17, 2024. Transport in person. All parties on the Commonwealth versus Jared Ravizza, criminal docket 2459 CR 725.
June 17th. I gotta write that down.
You're all set for today. Thank you.
Have fun in Bridgewater, psycho.
Thank you again, Doctor. All parties, thank you. Your Honor, it's a 110. We do have our trial readiness matters and here.
It's her fault. This is fucking insane. Excuse my language, but it really fucking is. What do I got else? I would like I said, so Flossie said that I know that Mel streams Nancy a lot, and I just thought he had like a status with her. So when I'll just, make sure to pause it when I get to Nancy. Like I said, I didn't even know Nancy did a show on this until just right before I went live, because I already had this set up for a couple days, but I've been so busy with my yard work. So let's see what this one is, because I don't remember.
Begins with breaking news.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Eyewitness News at noon. I'm Karen.
But I will say it sounds like, I don't know what went wrong here, but he lived a privileged life. He was in, Martha's Vineyard, money. He drove a Porsche, a self-proclaimed model, all kind of shit. It sounds like he had a lot of good things, but I don't know. Clearly something went wrong somewhere, because you don't just up and go on a crime stabbing spree across several states, and then lead police on a high-speed chase and crash your car in the town next to me, about 10 minutes away, actually. And even killed his roommate's dogs. I mean, what the fuck? Why you gotta stab dogs too?
Something we have breaking news now. The man being investigated for murder in Connecticut and multiple stabbings in Massachusetts is facing a judge. Jared Ravizza was arrested Saturday. Police suspect he killed a man in Deep River before then going on a stabbing spree at a McDonald's,
this McDonald's
and
here,
at a movie theater.
McDonald's I've been eating at my whole life, and right here, this is right near me where he crashed his car. He led police. There's his lovely Porsche. Used to be Porsche.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reported
as I was saying earlier, for those that come in late, so this guy, Jared Ravizza, he started in Connecticut with his roommate. He speared his 70-year-old roommate with a shovel through the window, killed him, killed his dogs, then proceeded to go to a movie theater, and he stabbed 4 young girls. The youngest girl was about 9 years old, and the mom was there trying to grab her kids and everything. She took kids to the movies, did a stabbing spree. Then he left the movie theater. Then he went to a McDonald's in Plymouth, that McDonald's that I just showed you that I've been, literally going to my whole life. And he got out of his car. I'm just doing a brief summary again for those that came in late. Got out of his Porsche, urinated in the parking lot, then got back in his car, went to the drive-thru, lunged through the window to stab a male employee. Then he proceeded to drive around, go inside, and jump over and stab a female employee. Okay? And then he got back in his car and led police on the high-speed chase where he crashed his Porsche right near me, where I showed you that car wreck that I just had on pause. So he killed the old man and his dogs, but the other people are all in the hospital. As far as I know, that's what I've heard on all these clips. He put all the rest of them in the hospital. None of the other victims have, passed away yet, besides the roommate. And the first roommate was in Connecticut, and his name was Bruce Feldman, and he was 70. Deep River, Connecticut. And I don't know. So from Deep River, Connecticut to Braintree, Mass, the movie theater, AMC movie theater, and then McDonald's in Plymouth, and then Sandwich, Massachusetts. He is a self-proclaimed model, has these self-proclaimed businesses. He has stuff on social media, posing and all that. And I got his social media, I think, for Instagram is Jerry Jones, JareeJones. So I think we could probably find him on there. He has like a lot of surf pictures and shit, but it sounds like he had a privileged life in Martha's Vineyard, money. I don't know what went wrong here.
Political reporter Susan Raff is live at Plymouth Superior Court. And Susan, what happened during today's hearing?
Kara, good afternoon. Jared Ravizza appeared before a judge here at Plymouth Superior Court. He has been ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation, and that is what we are waiting for now. Ravizza faces multiple charges for 2 separate stabbings in the Boston area. The charges that are here in this particular court are from that McDonald's. Now, according to what we heard in court and also the documents, Ravizza is accused of going into that McDonald's and stabbing 2 employees. One where he lunged into the drive-thru and stabbed a male employee, then stabbed a female employee. We are told both of them sustained injuries and are in the hospital. Before that, he faces additional charges for multiple stabbings at a movie theater in Braintree, Massachusetts, where he's accused of stabbing 4 young girls. The youngest, we are told, could have been 9 years old. But
imagine that poor
the big
mom
charge
trying
in
to
all
save
of
her
this
kids.
could be the murder in Deep River. Now, Connecticut State Police released the victim's name just minutes ago. His name is Bruce Feldman. He is 70 years old. We are told that Jared Ravizza was renting that house in Deep River on Maritone Lane, and that Bruce Feldman was staying with him. That is going to be a critical part of all of this investigation, because it's very possible that Ravizza will be extradited back to Connecticut. Now, we will have much more details about what happened, including inside this McDonald's. But again, right now, we are waiting for the results of that psychiatric evaluation. We will bring you much more online and on air. For now, we are live in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Susan Raff, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Now, Channel 3 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
I thought I had some clips that showed the identity. Maybe this one does. Let me pause this for a second. It's not pausing here. I'm trying to share the tab. I'm going to have to start it over again. It's not letting me pause. Okay. So here's some photos, better photos of him in his self-proclaimed model pictures. These are from his social media. That's the guy he killed right there. That 70. Oh, he's also a self-proclaimed artist. I forgot about that one, I think. Weird. Pretty bizarre, huh? I think. So then, just this morning, I found the Nancy Grace stuff, and I was like, whoa, we made it to Nancy Grace? Like I said, I didn't even know till right before this. So I haven't got to watch it all. Oh, let me get rid of that other tab because it's still playing in my ear. 1 second. Shut up. Okay, let me go back to the other one. So I didn't get to watch all the Nancy. I just put like a little bit of it on, so I might do like a little bit of a Sam. I'm gonna be pissed. See, she's already got the eyebrows in place that scare me when she's angry.
That a nearby.
Oh man, now my neighbor's gonna landscape. Seriously? Can you let me know if that gets too loud? Because I could just mute. I can mute out when she's talking.
McDonald's as another dead body turns up in an apartment building. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us. What we know right now, including Susan Raff, investigative reporter, WFSB TV, Connecticut.
I see Dr. Gary Bravado, the guy that goes on the lab too.
To Dr. Gary Braccato joining us, forensic psychologist, co-creator of the Columbia Mass Murder Database and author of The New Evil, Understanding the Emergence of Modern Violent Crime. Dr. Braccato, thank you for being with us. I have long said, and I've not seen any study, a thesis, a doctoral summary, nothing on the psychopathy behind stabbing versus shooting, or strangulation or any other mode of homicide. But stabbing, in my mind, and I don't know how to verbalize it, doctor, is a whole nother layer of evil. You have to, it's like a sweetheart murder. You're very intimate with your victim. You are violently attacking them and actually witnessing the blood, the life's blood, flow out of their body. So that's a lot different from, say, a sniper shooting at a distance, right, where there's no contact with the victim, or vehicular homicide. It's a very different psychopathy. And on 4 little girls trying to watch a matinee.
Did the Columbia Mass Murder Database, one of the things we considered specifically was the method that was used. Now, this attack that occurred across Massachusetts and Connecticut would technically be considered a spree stabbing. It could have become a mass, a spree killing, but there weren't enough people who expired to meet criteria for that. But it certainly was an attempted spree stabbing. And one of the things we learned about people who perpetrate these actions is that the choice of weapon is very telling in terms of the psychology of the individual. For example, an individual that uses a firearm, probably because of the accessibility of them, is far less likely to have bona fide serious mental illness.
I know I'm pretty curious about what Bridgewater State's going to say about him and what kind of diagnoses they're going to come up with.
Have to think about that when you are talking about somebody who picks up something around the house and goes on a spree. But it's interesting because the people who use blades specifically do seem to divide up into people who are very disturbed and people who use them because of a more perverse fantasy-oriented wish to have an intimacy with the victims. For example, in the Koberger case, there's the use of a blade, and that is technically an accused mass murder. There, I think it was selected more for the intimacy and the pain
or the mowing.
It inflicted.
I keep muting
so we
out.
have to think about what kind of two types we're dealing with when a blade is used.
Wow, that's a lot for me to take in. Remember, I'm just a trial lawyer. You're the shrink. But I hear you, and your comparisons are amazing, specifically as it goes to Koberger. What happened?
Don't the fancy mics like drown out the background noise or whatever, filter it out? Yeah, I got to get one of those someday. I'm going to get me a Yeti someday.
In this case, imagine sitting in a darkened matinee.
I got the cheap one.
Basically, by yourself, 4 little girls. Straight out to Susan Raff joining us, investigative reporter, WFSB TV. Susan, thanks for being with us. Susan, I want you to hear what the mom says, and this is from our friends at Boston 10 WBSCD.
My oldest was leaned over to get something. He got her in the back, and then my other.
So this right here is the mother of the children, the young children that this guy stabbed. 4 of her kids. Little kids.
Her daughter in the top chest, and then my last daughter across her arm, laughing the whole time.
Hello, Sasha.
Susan,
thanks
what
for being a man.
Happened?
Happy Friday.
Well, I mean, this is a terrible situation. I mean, you have 4 young girls in a movie theater. One, I think the youngest was only 9 years old. and it came in the dark. He stabbed those 4 girls. This was terrifying for a lot of people.
Can you just imagine taking your kids to the movie theater to watch a movie that just came out? You're on summer vacation and some shit like this happens? You know how traumatized those kids are going to be for life? I mean, talk about PTSD. They're never going to want to, they'll probably never go to a movie theater again. They're going to, I mean, this is crazy. Just enjoying the summer break, doing what kids do on summer vacation, you know? It's freaking crazy.
And especially the mother of those girls. I think there
Glad
were
to
only
see
4
everyone,
girls
you know?
in that
Yeah.
movie theater at the time.
What more do we know about the theater stabbing of 4 little girls? Listen.
When the man with long blonde hair approaches the young girl closest to him, she is bent down in her seat, reaching for something. He stabs her in the back, then stabs the girl next to her in the chest. He slashes the third across her arm and stabs the fourth in an unspecified location. The attacker then runs from the theater. While never uttering a word, he laughs throughout the attack.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that. The whole time that he was going around stabbing people, he was laughing maniacally too. Laughing.
All 4 girls sustained serious injuries.
Laughing while he
Back to
stabbed
Susan
children.
Raff joining us, WFSB TV.
Fucking asshole.
Susan, how did the attacker get into the theater unnoticed? Did he pay? Did he sneak in a side door? Aren't doors to theaters closed from the outside?
Again, because I have to pause every now and then. This whole thing wasn't even the story that I had planned out, so I bumped this. I made this more of a priority than the other story I had planned, because when some shit like this happens around you, you're not gonna not want to talk about it. You know what I mean? This is crazy. This is in my area, so yeah, that's why I had to do it.
Side in,
Laughing,
and how did he
Sasha,
make a
yeah.
getaway?
I'm not exactly sure how he was able to get into the theater. Those are all things that we're looking into. How did he get into that theater? How did he get in?
Also, I want to say that since this happened, that movie theater has since, in an effort to not scare customers away, has stated that they're now posting an armed guard at the theater. Now, I'm not sure how much of a deterrent that's going to be, or if that's going to help people want to go to the movies, because clearly when something like this happens, it's going to be a deterrent. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how safe people will feel, because anyone can, I mean, really, they'll have to have metal detectors and check bags and shit to make it safe. I mean, because anyone can come in and do something like this anyways, even with a guard there, you know. I don't know how much that's going to help, but that's what they've said.
And managed to get a knife and stab those 4 young girls. Then obviously he left the theater, but we're all very concerned as to what exactly happened. How did he get into that theater? Did he buy a ticket to that theater? At this point, we really don't know.
Guys, we've been told he did not buy a ticket. So, what is the security situation at this theater? How did he just get in? And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of theaters have changed their admittance after COVID. Has the admittance to this theater been changed? We know he didn't get a ticket, so how did he end up in a practically...
Yes, thank you, Lily, because I'm probably not in any algorithm anymore because I haven't been on. Thank you, appreciate that.
Isolated theater with 4 little girls.
I'm
still under investigation, but that's not the end of the story. Listen.
A man driving a black Porsche Macan argues with a Plymouth, Massachusetts McDonald's employee, insisting the employee double-check his order. The driver tries to snatch the bag of food without paying, but the 28-year-old male employee refuses to let go. The driver stabs the employee in the arm several times.
I bet you my McDonald's over here is going to be hiring, because I bet a lot of people quit. The girl that talked earlier on one of the first clips I played, she said she's afraid to ever go back to work. So I'm sure they're all gonna have PTSD. I bet a bunch of people quit.
Then parks his car and enters the restaurant. A 21-year-old female employee screams, "Stop, you don't have to do this," as the driver stabs her in the arms as well.
Laughs and shows the...
So that's actually, I go there a lot for French fries when I go to the particular beach over that way. There's a beach that I like to go to, that I used to go to when I was a child, so I always get French fries there.
Okay, symbol. Remember, at McDonald's, they are covered in surveillance cameras. That's going to be tough to beat. Eric Faddis joining me, renowned trial lawyer, TV legal analyst, and founding partner of Varner Faddis Elite Legal, former felony prosecutor. Eric, there's no way now. A darkened theater, That's one thing. You're not going to get very good video out of that. But the lobby to the theater, if he in fact went through the lobby, and at McDonald's, the drive-through, the interior, the cash register, they're all covered with surveillance video.
Yeah, no question, Nancy.
Another thing I'm thinking of too. So if he went through the drive-through and stabbed, lunged in the window and stabbed that first guy, I feel like I'm surprised some Samaritans, I guess it depends on the time and who's there and everything. I'm surprised nobody stepped in. Like, if that happened and people are already screaming, you're going to see him come around the building, and then he went inside and was able to stab a female employee. So I'm surprised people didn't like jump on him and attack him, I have that thought. I'm wondering.
And I'm sure law enforcement is sort of retracing the steps of the suspect
his ass.
and finding every piece of surveillance video they can. It's my understanding that the vehicle may have been on surveillance video, that the license plate may have been on surveillance video. These are all pieces that law enforcement is going to put together in this gruesome puzzle that happened in Massachusetts and potentially Connecticut.
And another thing, Eric Faddis, our renowned trial lawyer, think about it. How many men are wearing what was first thought to be a long platinum blonde wig? Really?
Yeah.
How's he going to say? How's he going to use the
Really?
side? Some other dude did it defense.
Nancy's pissed.
How many people are in and out of theaters at McDonald's, men wearing a long blonde flowing wig, Eric?
Ah, that's his surf boy hair.
It's a distinguishing characteristic, no question. And it's going to be difficult for his defense team to try to argue alternative suspect or something along those lines. We also know that the suspect had a pretty nice car, a Porsche SUV that's black. And
Had
so there
a
are
nice
all of
car.
these factors that prosecution is going to tie directly to this suspect and to no one
Hey,
else.
Lulu. Nancy's having a rage. That's
in
right.
the last days, we discover
Lulu,
a man wearing a long.
Lulu, if you just got here, I talked about it. I gave a summary a couple times, but this crime just happened in my area.
Apparently wearing a long flowing blonde wig, somehow sneaks into a darkened AMC theater. Only a few little girls, 4 little girls in this theater for the matinee. They've got the whole place to themselves. Little did they know, waiting in the wings was a guy with a knife. Joining me, Dr. Eric Eason, a board-certified forensic pathologist.
He went on a stabbing
consultant.
spree, Lulu, in several towns.
Dr. Eason, thank you for being with us. Dr. Eason, how often, comparatively, do you see stabbing homicides versus bludgeoning, blunt trauma, strangulation, or asphyxiation in shootings?
Well, it depends on where you live. I mean, I've worked in Georgia, I've worked in Chicago, and I currently now.
And also, I haven't, like I said, I just noticed this morning that this was on Nancy Grace. I hadn't even known that since right before I went live. I found that this was on Nancy, so I haven't seen this. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'll just keep playing it for now. If it's not boring anyone, I'm just kind of curious.
I work in Florida, and Chicago was the place where we saw a lot of gunshot wound cases. Atlanta actually had quite a few stab wound cases when I was there. As far as bludgeonings, those are pretty rare compared to the other 2 types. And what was the other one that you mentioned? Bludgeoning, stab wounds. Oh, you mean like asphyxiation, strangulation? I've had a few cases like that too, but those are pretty rare as well.
Maybe I should go to his
court. It's very tough to actually
appearance.
strangle an adult male, and so that kind of eliminates half the population right there. It's very, very tough to kill someone, an adult male, by strangulation. So stab wound's probably number 2 on my list for everywhere.
The court that he's in, I know that you can bring phones into that court, but I don't know if they'd let me film it or not. But that's something I can think about or look into, I guess.
I've worked for homicides.
Jared Ravizza is raised by his parents Jason and Kim Ravizza in Agawam, Massachusetts. Ravizza attends classes at the University of Massachusetts for 1 semester, but quickly abandons further studies to start a digital marketing and social media management agency.
That's him on the vineyard right there, Martha's
business,
Vineyard.
Ravizza Jones Productions, has offices in Manhattan, Beverly Hills,
I'm just going to stop it there to show that a lot of the pictures from his social media, as you can see right there. Let me see if you guys can see it, if it's not covered by my little thing. It's Jared Jones, Jareee So there's 3 E's and then Jones, Jones, all lowercase. I think this looks like an Instagram. So I've noticed one thing about his Instagram with his modeling pictures that he's showing love towards a dog in lots of these pictures. He's even hugging this dog right here, taking pictures on Martha's Vineyard with this dog. But yet, after he stabbed and killed his roommate, the 70-year-old, he killed his dogs. But here he is hugging a dog.
Paris and Naples. Ravizza describes himself as an artist, professional model, skier, and social entrepreneur.
Okay, I'm always suspicious when someone just says they're an entrepreneur. Of what? Who is this guy? Apparently, he's had a very, very privileged past, as friends and former co-workers weigh in on who he is. To Susan Raff, WFSB TV, who is he?
Maybe his parents will get him a good lawyer since they have so much money.
Well, I understand, grew up in Martha's Vineyard. He was living there. He does come from a life of privilege. I mean, to drive a Porsche SUV like that, he clearly comes from money. He was renting a house in Deep River, Connecticut, for about 2 months. So that can't be inexpensive. It's a very expensive home. He was renting a home in Deep River for 2 months.
All of the homes
His
here
social
are
media
expensive.
accounts are very, you can see for yourself. He was experimenting with a lot of things. And he definitely comes from money.
From what I can glean regarding his background, he is a former University of Massachusetts student who claims to run, and I'm quoting, a leading global.
Look, there he is taking photos with a dog again.
Digital marketing and social media management agency.
I know,
that's
right,
a mouthful. What's he doing on the beach if he's running
It's going to be interesting to see if the parents give any sort of speech about this, if they come out and say anything, if they hire a lawyer for him, if the lawyer is going to give some sort of statement. I'm going to be very curious about this. There he is showing off his muscles.
Global digital marketing and social media management agency. Okay, he claims he's got offices in Manhattan, Beverly Hills, Paris, and Naples. Talk about a con man. Joining me, forensic psychologist who was the co-creator of the Columbia.
If this case is on Nancy Grace and making news like this, they might limit who goes in the courtroom. Even if I went there and tried to get in, I bet you there's going to be a lot of news there.
Mass murder database, Dr. Gary Bricado. Dr. Bricado, in some cases, I would classify this as swagger, i.e. lies. But this is over the top, Dr. Bricado, a leading global digital marketing and social media management agency with offices in Manhattan, Beverly Hills, Paris, and Naples.
Right.
Modern day Spicoli.
He's a BSer.
A young Spicoli,
right. Well, when we created the database, one of the things we learned about people.
Isn't that something, Lulu, that even this doctor who's on the lab a lot is talking about this? Hello, Kenny.
Whatever mechanism it is they use to attempt a mass murder or to commit one, is that there tends to be, as a general rule with these individuals, a precipitate.
How can he love? I can't take it. Love on dogs like that, and he killed the guy's dogs. What the hell?
Event that is like the match that goes to the straw that sets them off. And so what I think you have is an expression of anger that exploded in a person whose whole identity was wrapped up around those things.
Something went wrong.
Well, while he claims to run a leading global digital marketing and social media management agency in Manhattan, Beverly Hills, Paris, and Naples, his friends from
Prestige Worldwide,
from his former college say they remember him as simply being odd. They claim he only went to school for a semester, then disappeared. He claimed to be a social media influencer back then in college, but according to college friends or associates, they thought that was a joke. that he was considered just to be odd. Back to Susan Raff, WFSB. I understand he lived on at an island home, which was the home to politicians and celebrities for years. And I assume that the reports are referring to Martha's Vineyard.
That's correct. He was living on Martha's Vineyard. I think he's from Martha's Vineyard.
And listen, the homes here are not cheap.
But most recently, I believe he was living in Agawam, Massachusetts, which is outside of Springfield.
They probably have multiple homes.
Stabbing spree at the AMC Theater.
A lot of people that live on Martha's Vineyard have a second home there. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of rich people visit here. Like, even it's usually in August. Even Obama and his family come here, and they usually stay for a week or two. So a lot of celebrities. My daughter was just taking the ferry to work a clinical in the Vineyard. She's done in the Vineyard now, but she was on the boat recently with James Taylor, and James Taylor apparently likes to ride the ferry with the common folk because he likes to get to know the people. I thought that was pretty cool. So she just rode on the boat with him. I'm like, man, I would have wanted to get a selfie with him. That's pretty cool.
Followed by a stabbing spree at a local McDonald's. Was not the end of the story, but I'm curious about the McDonald's spree. Back to Susan Raff. What, if anything, tipped off? What was the genesis of the McDonald's stabbing? Because there was no genesis at the 8.
About that 2:30 dentist appointment that I had at 8:45. So I had a little bit of issues this morning getting to my dentist. I arrived a bit late due to an issue with my car, and they canceled me. And I said, well, can't you just do something else? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. So they rescheduled, and I had to go home, and that was all for nothing. And then when I got home, I dropped my coffee in my phone, and the coffee went all over my phone. Everything's been screwing up since, but I'm good now. But at least my face isn't numb.
What about the McDonald's? Did they get the order wrong or what?
I don't think so. I spoke actually with one of the employees who was stabbed, a female who worked there. First, it's believed that he drove to the drive-thru. He got upset about an order, but he lunged through the drive-thru window and stabbed a male employee at that McDonald's several times, then parked his Porsche and went inside the McDonald's.
Like I said, how many people quit there or aren't going back to work from trauma? I bet you they're going to be posting some job positions with a high rate, probably $25 an hour or something,
And stabbed a female employee several times in the arms. The employee that I spoke to who works at that McDonald's said she was terrified.
I've been going by my whole life. See you in the picture. I don't. Well, I guess my little bubbles are covering it. To the right-hand side, under the blue bubbles, that's a huge wooden totem pole of a Native American, and it's a classic landmark at this McDonald's. Yeah, my little bubbles are covering it, but I don't think you can see it with the cursor there, but it's pretty cool.
Terrified, and now she's afraid to go to work. She doesn't really know what to do, and she can't use her arms right now because they're all bandaged. So why he just suddenly went off like that inside the McDonald's, we just don't know. We just don't know. But he obviously scared those poor employees who were working that day, and they probably won't come back to work.
What more do we know about this
so he
guy?
lived really close to me.
In early 2020, Jared Ravizza disappears entirely from social media. When Ravizza returns to Instagram 2 years later, he's nearly unrecognizable. Ravizza, who usually wears an all-American look, now sports a dark spray tan and long bleached hair. Ravizza changes his pronouns on Instagram to she, her, and his legal name to Jared Love Jones. Most of his posts are now selfies, photos of his artwork, and fitness videos.
Okay, I'm getting a pretty good picture of who he is, and he's reminding me of somebody else. He's reminding me of a guy named Sam Haskell. Does the name Sam Haskell ring a bell to anybody?
Does Sam Haskell ring a bell to any of y'all?
Haskell was the son of a famous Hollywood agent.
I think Lulu's assessment of a young Spicoli was pretty accurate.
And when I say famous, I mean represented Dolly Parton, Whoopi Goldberg, so many others. And he had a spoiled brat kid that turned into a spoiled brat man.
Yep.
Listen.
Sam Haskell IV is the 35-year-old son of Sam Haskell III, an Emmy Award-winning producer. Haskell IV lists himself as a director and posted several clips online of low-budget videos he wrote and filmed. Former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Brandi Glanville appears in one of the clips for a movie which appears to be a high school teen drama.
I gotta check
Sam
out his
Haskell
Instagram.
IV lives in a 6-bedroom home in Tarzana with his wife, May Lee Haskell, their 3 young sons, and May Lee's parents, Yashon Lee, 72, and 64-year-old.
I'll pause it for a minute. Ruby says, I watched this yesterday and my youngest went to the cinema with his friends today. I couldn't get this out of my head. We can't let our kids enjoy anything without worrying anymore. No, we can't. You really can't. And then you worry too much, you express it, and then people say you worry too much, but then, how can you not with all this stuff? They're on summer vacation doing activities, the shit that our kids are supposed to do, go have a trip with their friends to the movies. It's insanity. And I can't imagine watching this first and knowing that my kids are going to the theater. I think I'd be a little more than freaked out. I gotta tell you that. And it was just, like I said, bizarre to me that I already had this set up for a couple days, but I've been so busy with I'm big into landscaping and flowers and stuff when it's, spring and summer. So I've been trying to get my yard done. It's a project that takes quite a while. But as I already said, before I went to put this on, I found that it was on Nancy last night. I didn't even know that till just before I went live. So I haven't seen this. Pretty crazy.
Yang Jai Wang. Authorities say May and both of her parents are missing.
Like my resume says, unhappy, bitter, resentful.
Is that my rapper?
And,
I haven't
really
seen rapper in a while.
Ordering off the menu.
Brat. He's talking about ordering off the menu. His wife and in-laws who lived with him and his wife to raise the children since he was so absentee, they're dead. May's torso has been found in a dumpster. They're not missing. And both the parents were murdered. Their bodies haven't been found. This is a guy who was given everything on a silver platter. On top of a Christmas tree. All that money, a $3 million home, a wife who was paying the mortgage for him, beautiful children now believed to have been at home when mom, May, was murdered. Given everything, but still turns into a killer. That's Sam Haskell. I don't know if it's the tan, the workout regimen, the long blonde hair, or just being a grown brat. I got to have a shrink. But first, Eric Faddis, high-profile trial lawyer, former prosecutor. A guy like this sitting in front of a jury will set every juror's teeth on edge because most of us had to work and have responsibilities that we have.
I want to see a statement from the parents. I want to see, like I said, if they hire him some good lawyer and pour some money into this, because I don't see any way out of this. But I bet they have a lawyer. I bet they'll fund one.
To uphold.
They probably bought his Porsche.
But when you see somebody like this guy, the AMC stabber, stabbing little girls in a matinee, then going on to employees at a McDonald's, all of them either weaker or less cunning or less money than he has. That's who he's picking on, Eric Faddis. I just hope he comes into a jury deliberations, at the point of jury deliberations, having sat with this attitude in front of a jury the whole trial.
Yeah, Nancy, it's very cringeworthy to just hear these people talk. And they don't come from adversity or struggle or some sort of understandably difficult circumstance. They come from privilege. They were given, look, he's got a picture of him with the Porsche in which he allegedly committed.
So this happened over Memorial Day weekend, the day before my birthday, Saturday. Yep. And I just found out about it a few days ago. I had it set up, and then I found just now before this that it was actually on Nancy, so I haven't got to see this yet. As I was saying, this guy went on a stabbing spree in my area, driving to multiple towns to stab four little girls at a movie theater while laughing maniacally while he was stabbing them as the mom tried to fight it off. He killed his 70-year-old roommate, speared him through the window with a shovel. So he killed his 70-year-old roommate and the roommate's dogs. And then he went through a McDonald's drive-thru near me and he stabbed a male employee through the window, lunged through the window, then proceeded to get out of his car, drive around and go in and stab another female employee before leading police on a high-speed chase in the town right next to me, about 10 minutes away. He totaled his Porsche, and that's when they took him in. He's going back to court June 17th.
And so I think it could be infuriating for a jury to be exposed to someone who's this entitled,
it's
this
in my
spoiled,
area.
this cavalier about the gravity of these serious stabbing allegations.
An intense police chase ends in a fiery crash for Ravizza's expensive Porsche. Jared Ravizza is detained only moments later and now faces multiple...
A lot of his social media pictures here are taken on Martha's Vineyard, and his social media handle for his Instagram has been shown on the photos. I'd like to check that out after.
counts of assault with intent to murder and battery charges.
I was hiding on my birthday weekend.
Ravizza goes on stabbing spree. Roommate and dog later found dead. Ravizza allegedly stabbed 4 girls, ages 9 through 17, Saturday evening at an AMC theater in Massachusetts. Ravizza allegedly finished off his spree at a McDonald's Rest Plaza where he publicly urinated at the drive-thru before stabbing 2 employees and fleeing.
Did I hear her say he publicly urinated?
Actually, he's been sent to Bridgewater State Hospital for mental evaluation. That's one of the worst psych ward mental places. It's on like crazy lockdown. And that Katie was in the chat earlier. I believe she said that's where Rebel is supposed to go. I don't know if he's gone there yet or he has to go there or something like that. But yeah, it's not a good. It's one of the worst ones, in terms of being strict.
At the drive-thru, Susan Raff, did I hear that?
Absolutely did. He did. He urinated at that McDonald's.
I worked at a restaurant in law school, and there was a drive-thru. It's a sandwich shop. I can only imagine what McDonald's workers go through every day, but to see this guy pull out his and urinate, I think that's way above and beyond the call of the job. I mean, you know what it tells me? Susan Raff, guys, Susan Raff is an investigative reporter, WFSB. She has seen every sort of crime that comes along. But you know what I hate? I mean, I hate all crime, violent crime. But someone that is so disdainful of other people that it's okay for him to whip out his and urinate in front of McDonald's employees. You know, a lot of them are just kids really, in their teens, getting a job, and they've got to see that.
Hey, since he whipped out his little pecker and peed in the parking lot, that, depending on where he did that and what camera view there is of that could, I wonder if that could, I'll say that, I wonder if that could lead to other charges such as exposure and everything, indecent exposure, because you can't be whipping that out in the parking lot like that, That could be a potential charge down the line.
Number one, of course, that takes a back seat to a mass stabbing.
Andy.
But that said, this guy has been given everything his whole life. And who does he pick on? Children in a matinee and the people working at a McDonald's for minimum wage. That is who he literally pissed on.
Okay,
and of
so
course we don't know
question. I'm just going to question, do the victims live? So he killed it. The roommate did not live. He speared him with a shovel from the only info I can find. He shoveled through the window and, stabbed him and killed his dogs. Now, the other 6 people that were stabbed are all, what I heard was in the hospital, and they are all alive so far. I don't think they're in danger of passing, but he is going to be facing a murder charge, and he might be expedited to Connecticut because he did commit that murder there before he headed this way. So that's possible. The 4 children, I hope they're okay. Besides trauma.
But that's what this guy did. Who
welcome.
Does he think he is? And don't tune up with me, Bricado, that he is legally insane. If he were legally insane, he would not have run from the scene. He knew what he did was wrong. And that is the legal test, the litmus test, the only test in the United States. It's the old McNaughton rule, as I've said before, brought over to our country from the Brits, our common law.
Yeah, the little kids at the movie theater that he was stabbing while laughing, the youngest was 9 years old, yeah. They were with their mother.
You know right from wrong at the time of the incident.
Thank God she
You
was
are
there
not
to try to help.
insane at the time of the incident. He got in his car and took off. He led police on a wild chase. He knew what he did was wrong. He takes advantage of people that are weaker, less powerful, and less cunning than he is. And he, I guarantee you, has gotten away with it for.
So let me see if you can see on this map. I don't think you can really see. There's a little bit of a delay on my phone. So Martha's Vineyard, this island's right here, where he lived a lot of his privilege, and I am right here, right above on this island. So this is the bigger island right here where I am.
Whole life.
Well,
I didn't know the peeing was a fine.
The suspects thought
I was just more wondering if he'd get like a decent exposure, but you're right, that could be. I'm sure they'll try to put all the charges they can on him.
there happens to be a mental health professional with about 35 years of
Damn, there's a
experience.
toilet inside, bro.
And the father has told the press that he believed that his son had some kind of mental breakdown, I think was the phrase. I think what I'm seeing evidence of, and of course I haven't examined him, but what I'm seeing evidence of and what's available publicly
What's
is
the
the
matter,
kind of
bro?
rageful, inadequate
Did he not get the newest car upgrade or something? Were you angry? Like what?
personality that under stress and a sense of envy and anger exploded, and certainly would be described as a peculiar person, but I'm not sure.
But wait. You're going so fast.
Nancy.
I can't take it all in. Did you say he's got stress? What stress? He doesn't have to work. His daddy gave him a Porsche. He's living at a, quote, holiday home, which means vacation rental that he's had for weeks. You heard Susan Raff. I've never known her to be wrong on a fact so far, okay? Maybe I've missed something. But he's been bunking out at Martha's Vineyard and various other vacation spots. What stress?
Well, it's very interesting because like a lot of people who commit these offenses, he might have everything in the world, but what he's missing probably is a kind of social acceptance and beauty, which he might feel are essential, things that money can't buy really. And I think that if you look at the offenses that are laid out, the order of them is very telling. The arc of them is very telling, because I think what you had was an expression.
It's very true that people that have everything money-wise are often lacking in other things. That's very true.
Of envy towards these attractive, perhaps cute young kids that are in the theater, having a family together, having positive time together.
I want to see Bricado. You're telling me a grown man driving a Porsche with anything he wants is envious of how young was the youngest one, Susan? 9? A 9-year-old little girl that he stabbed?
Nancy's right. Envious, but you stabbed children and a 9-year-old, 4 little girls while you were laughing. How's that envy? Slay
I'm
it,
sorry,
Nancy.
Bricado. I'm not buying any of what you're saying. They may hire you for the defense. Jealous?
I think that when you compare what occurred in the theater to what happened in the McDonald's is a very clear attempt to use privilege to compensate for the insecurity by going to a place where you might associate people with lower SEX, you urinate, you drive in with your Porsche, the whole thing. So I think what you see there is the whole arc of what this guy's personality is about. You compensate for the inadequacies shown in the first part of the crime.
Yes, he puts the lotion in the basket or he gets the hose again. Yes, that's what he looks like. You're right. Good
by
call.
using your privilege and so forth to condescend to people. And I think that's the whole idea is that at the center of this individual is a
like you said, Virgo away. There's often something lacking when people have money up the yin like that. And a lot of people have au pairs, nannies. The parents are often working, business, people that have money like that, and they just push them off to others to take care. And there's often a love or other things lacking. But I'm wondering, I'm really interested in this psych eval from the Bridgewater State Hospital, what they're going to say, I'm very interested.
Sense of being weird, odd, rejected, not good enough, no matter how much he compensated. And I think that's the stress that lit the fuse. The rejection by the model. Who knows what went on in the dynamic with the father. Unfortunately, these are the kinds of things we have to think of with these offenses.
Joining me is Susan Raff, WFSB TV, and she has been dying to tell us, and she's right. We're not even done with the body count here.
Oh, yes.
There's another stabbing victim. Listen.
Connecticut police confirmed 70-year-old Bruce Feldman of West Hartford was found dead Saturday in a Deep River holiday home. Feldman's family devastated by the news of his sudden death. Feldman's longtime love, Julie Feldman of West Hartford, in tears, stating, "The whole thing's really shocking. We were together a very, very long time."
Okay, I've got to figure out who is the next victim. Susan, who is this guy?
Who is this guy? This is Bruce Feldman. He was 70 years old. We are told that he was recently divorced. He didn't have a lot going on. We're not quite sure.
That old man right there. And that's one of his dogs. He loved his dogs. He was said to have walked his dogs in the neighborhood often without a leash.
For what the relationship was with the suspect.
Probably.
But they were staying at that home in Deep River. Now, Bruce Feldman, they had two dogs there. One was a poodle and another large dog. And Bruce used to walk the dog in that neighborhood. They had been renting the home for probably about 2 weeks. A lot of the neighbors say that
Only
he didn't
2
have the dogs on the leash, that they were walking around. He had some kind of altercation where he sat on someone's property, Bruce Feldman, and that may have sparked some tension. And it's believed that the suspect then went to that house, took a shovel, and smashed the window. And that's why police went to that neighborhood, because of the complaint from the woman who lived on the street. And then they went to the
this
house.
Is getting very convoluted. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, this is different from what I've heard, so this might be some clarification on the shovel through the window incident.
So we think suspect smashed a neighbor's window.
The way I heard it presented, and as I presented it earlier, was the shovel was speared through the window and stabbed the guy. So this might be a correction on that.
In that neighborhood, he was bunked up with the now dead Feldman. So cops show up on the smashed window, then they find a dead body. You were saying something about the two dogs?
Right. He had two dogs, and we believe that those dogs were also killed inside that home.
Oh, Lord.
Along with the body of
let me understand something. So we've got the victim, 70-year-old Feldman, Bruce Feldman, and he had allowed suspect to live with him. He allowed him to move in. And now he's found dead, let me guess, stabbed to death. And the two dogs are killed as well. Feldman's two dogs were murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what's really interesting about this is that the neighbors say they saw Bruce Feldman all the time in that neighborhood, walking the poodle that you see in that photo around the neighborhood, but they never saw the suspect. They only saw Bruce Feldman. At one point, a neighbor said, we don't even believe that there's someone else there. But they did see the Porsche there. So, and that was very critical for police in this investigation. That Porsche.
That could be, but also chaotic. It was such a new story that they might be getting better facts about it, because but we do know that the man was stabbed, so that's definitely a fact. How it was done with the shovel, that he might have, it sounds like he could have thrown a shovel through another neighbor's window, and then they came for that and then found the guy. That's what it just sounded like. But either way, we do know that he did stab the 7-year-old. He did kill his. That was the first victim.
Porsche that you're looking at was parked in the driveway of that home.
Yeah, the dogs might have been protecting.
The car was in Massachusetts. But Bruce Feldman was seen as a very social guy, very friendly with the neighbors. He tried to have a play date with one of the neighbors' dogs. For some reason, something happened in that house. And when police got there, I believe that they found Bruce Feldman's body outside, and he was dead. And so were.
Oh, goodness.
My dog's my bestie.
So you think the mode of death on Bruce Feldman was also stabbing?
I don't know if he was stabbed or he might have been killed with a shovel. The investigation hasn't released the cause of death.
Okay, so killed with a shovel or stabbed. But he's dead. We know that.
He
I
obviously
want to
left
think
the
that
scene.
through, Susan. I want to think this through, and this is how I'd argue it to a jury once I finally got to it's not necessarily chronological.
No matter what, chaotic, she's still, when she's pissed, those eyebrows scare me. And that's a fact for me.
but we're discussing Feldman last because he was found dead last along with his pet dogs.
I'm sure more is going to come out
to a jury. Faddis, joining me, Eric Faddis, trial lawyer and TV legal analyst. Think about it. Think about picking up a shovel. I mean, when you see a pet dog, what is your natural instinct? Mine is to try to pet it and baby talk to it and love on it.
Yep, me too.
Think about picking up a shovel and swinging it with such force. The act of beating someone dead with a shovel and then killing the two dogs. Did he cut them across the throat with a shovel?
Yep.
Did he bludgeon them dead?
I might pause this while that loud truck goes by. Yeah, you think about it. Think about the victims too. They're all people that it sounds like couldn't fight back, all helpless, not going to be able to do anything. You're talking about a 7-year-old man, 7-year-old. How much fighting do they have in them? You know, innocent little children, 4 little girls, one as young as 9, helpless. They're not going to fight back. Not going to fight back. I'm sure one of the other people identified smaller.
Dead with the shovel
or defend themselves.
That's what happened to Feldman and his 2 dogs. I submit at the hands of this guy.
Dog killer.
Well, you know, I hear you. The defense perspective is this guy some heartless killer, or is he completely off his rocker? Think about it. Why kill the dogs? If he has some beef with Feldman, why take the additional step to kill? Right from wrong, and he was.
I mean, that was my first thought. Why'd you kill those dogs? What, you know? It seemed like he likes dogs in some of his pictures on the vineyard that he's hugging dogs and shit. So whoever said in the chat a few minutes ago that the dogs were probably trying to protect the owner, that's very likely. I could see that happening.
Then why did he run? Why did he run, Faddis? If he didn't know right from wrong, why did he run? He ran from the movie theater. He took off and ran from the McDonald's. He, in fact, led police on a high-speed chase. He reminds me of another spoiled brat killer. Listen.
The attorney for New York City's sidewalk shover, Lauren Pazienza, claims the spoiled socialite was a drunk and high mess the night she allegedly pushed legendary Broadway singing coach Barbara Gustern, causing the 87-year-old to fall and later die from her injuries. Pazienza is facing...
Does anyone in the chat know this lady? I never heard of this one.
Charges of manslaughter and assault for the unprovoked attack on Gustern. After Pazienza allegedly shoved her, the 87-year-old legend fell and hit her head. She died 5 days later from those injuries.
That defendant, the so-called cesspool princess, her dad was a millionaire, is a multimillionaire from building cesspools for rich people, gets drunk and shoves a little old lady who then dies.
Damn.
And then ran off and deleted all of her social media, tried to hide out, tried to delete everything on her phone. She knew darn well what she had done, and Miss Gustern died. And let me remind everybody of Heather Mack, another spoiled brat.
Heather Mack.
I don't regret killing my
I don't know this one either.
And as evil as that may sound, that's my reality. In my heart, in my mind, my soul, in my blood, in the oxygen running through my body. But I wanted to kill my mother.
Sheila Von Weiss Mack takes her spoiled 19-year-old daughter Heather Mack to Bali for a luxury vacation to repair their mom-daughter relationship and put distance between Heather and her 21-year-old boyfriend Tommy Schaefer. Heather has different plans, uses mom's money to sneak Tommy to Bali, where they kill Sheila Mack, fold her body in a suitcase, and take a taxi to a cheap hotel. Leaving the hotel, they forget the luggage, and hotel security opens it up to find Sheila Von Weiss Mack.
Killed the mother, put her in a suitcase, brought it to a hotel, and forgot the luggage? I haven't heard about this one either. Damn. What a shame. She had a lot going for her. Look, she's a beautiful girl. What the hell?
Ethan Couch was just 16 when he killed 4 people and wounded 9 others while he was...
Ethan Couch, I think they said. I don't know this one either.
Drunk, on drugs, and speeding. His attorney said it was his parents' fault for never telling the boy no, never having any consequences for his actions. It was called affluenza, and the judge bought it. Couch is sentenced to an unspecified rehab facility at his parents' expense. The time he had to stay, also unspecified, for killing 4 people, and he still didn't follow the rules.
Guys, in the last hours, we are learning more about a suspect who eludes police capture, taking them on a wild goose chase, a high-speed pursuit after stabbing 4 little girls in an AMC theater, stabbing McDonald's employees.
Another thing also on this high-speed pursuit, he could have killed and injured others and, hurt other people in the chase. Just going over the bridge on a high-speed chase, to get to this island here, you have to go, there's only one way here on the bridges. There's 2 bridges, and those are the only way in here to Cape Cod, unless you come here by boat, of course. So going on a high-speed chase on a bridge is dangerous, too. Dumbass.
He's not far away, and now suspected in the stabbing death of his roommate and the roommate's 2 dogs.
I don't know why
Bruce
he came
Feldman. I'm not sure that we really even know all of his victims. What's even more shocking is that he's from an affluent family and has been given everything on a silver platter. Susan Raff, WFSB, you were in court.
I wonder if there could be more
What did you
victims that
see?
we don't know about yet.
He appeared in court. He was evaluated by a forensic psychologist for about 2 hours, and we waited for that. Then they came back, and now he is at Bridgewater Hospital in Massachusetts, where he's going to be for the next 20 days.
Oh, shit. So he's in Bridgewater for 20 days. I don't think Katie's in here, but I don't know when, she had mentioned something that Rebel had to go there. So I'm wondering when and if he's expected to go there for a certain amount of time, or is that something that has to happen in court for court? But it's not a pleasant place. 20-day evaluation in Bridgewater.
This forensic psychologist said, yes, he does seem to understand some things. You're pointing out he knows right from wrong. He understood the process in the court, but she called him delusional. That he is somewhat psychotic, that he thinks his parents are involved in the mafia, that he believes he's being controlled by outside forces.
Oh,
so
Lord.
It appears that he does suffer from a lot of mental health issues. It was brought out by that same psychologist that for the past 2 years he's been suffering from that. So in the end, in June 17th.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on, Susan Raff.
Go ahead.
He has delusions of grandeur.
Yes, clearly.
He may be histrionic. That is not going to rise to the level of insanity. So what exactly happened in court?
Well, I think they have to determine that. The judge wants to see in the next 20 days he's being evaluated if...
Look at the car right there. Money can't buy it all.
He's able to work with his attorney to defend himself. So whatever they decide, that will determine what goes forward, whether he does go to trial or not. And that's very telling.
To Eric Faddis joining us. Eric, there's a far cry between having a delusion of grandeur or being histrionic or spinning yarns.
You're not going to get away with mental illness, I don't think.
Which, you heard Dr. Bricado talking about a model that had just turned down advances and a proposal by the suspect. That's not going to rise to legal insanity. Now, he could fake some sort of a delusion to be titled incompetent to stand trial at this time, which doesn't mean you were insane at the time of the act. It means you're not fit to help your lawyer try the case. And what they do is put you in a mental facility and give you the right therapy and medication until you are fit to stand trial.
Yes, if he's for some reason unfit for trial or whatever, they try to do that. A lot of times the judge will rule that they get them fit for trial. Now, I want to point out this happened with Lori Daybell, actually. She had to undergo all kinds of treatment and shit to get, quote, fit for trial. So that won't work. They'll just wait till you're ready.
The murder of Bruce Feldman, the dogs, the stabbings of 4 little girls, and the McDonald's employees, that's a crime spree. There has got to be justice, Faddis.
Certainly, and that's what the community is calling for, and that's obviously a reasonable position to take. But in looking at it, his attorneys raised competency. There's been at least one court.
So Chica says the guy that stabbed his mom 70 times. I feel like I've heard about that. There was another case here. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, maybe a few years ago even. There was a guy here that's right on Cape that killed his mom, then put her in the front yard and lit her on freaking fire. Like when the cops arrived on scene, she was burning in the front yard. Like, what the hell? There's a lot of screwed up people.
A practitioner, a doctor, who has said that he has very serious.
It was before I did live,
so I think there are some
actually.
real questions as to whether this is someone with mental illness who's just a really good manipulator and who is homicidal, or if it's someone who is so detached from reality that they cannot stand trial to face these charges and cannot be convicted of them.
To Dr. Gary Bricotto, clinical forensic psychologist, author of The New Evil, Understanding the Emergence of Modern Violent Crime, where do you stand on this? I certainly do not want someone who is insane to go into GP, general population, but I don't think he was insane at the time of the stabbings.
I think they'll have to keep him in protective
Well,
custody.
first of all, the crossover between psychotic illness and violence has been a specialty throughout my career. And I will tell you that part of the trouble is that people think that psychotic disorders are like a light switch, it's on or it's off. You have it or you don't. The truth is there's a wide array of traits that can be psychotic, signs and symptoms that can be psychotic. And you can have an individual with that kind of core, but who knows precisely what he's doing and is motivated by ordinary human feelings and anger and so forth. But the core of the individual could still be peculiar, whatever. But it's not a justification because the specific motivation is not voices or something like that. It's something else, like being angry after an argument or feeling slighted or so forth. So that it doesn't become so much a defense as much as a kind of mitigating factor, perhaps. The birth, why random and chaotic and so forth. But the original impetus, I'm not sure, was psychotic in nature based on what I'm hearing. And the other thing is, you're right, Nancy, there were steps taken that indicate a kind of concealment and a fleeing that you wouldn't really see in a person that didn't know what he was doing. I mean, going in the trench coat, for example, into the theater, going into a darkened place where people wouldn't know that they were about to be attacked, running from authorities, so forth. There are signs there of somebody who knows the difference between right and wrong. And I think that is ultimately all anybody is going to care about legally.
We wait as justice unfolds, and as we wait, we stop to remember an American hero, Sergeant Heather Glenn. Sergeant Glenn shot and killed in the line of duty, Tell City, Indiana, survived by broken-hearted parents, Bob and Jane, her brother Jason, and nephew Trace. American hero, Sergeant Heather Glenn. Thank you to all of our guests coming together to make sense of what we know in this case. But a thank you especially to you for being with us tonight and every night, and especially to our new MSM family. Nancy Grace signing off. I'll see you tomorrow night, 6 and 9 o'clock sharp Eastern. And until then, good night, friend.
Damn it. 1 second here.
Guys, thank you for watching Crime Online with Nancy Grace here on YouTube. To get the very latest, subscribe to Crime Online here.
I lost my tab. 1 second. I think it's right here. Wow, that was nuts. I did try to Instagram, but I don't have an action or a password that I know. I couldn't get in, but I'm gonna. If anyone wants to explore and check out his pictures, just he ain't using it anytime soon, but it looks like it's still up and everything. I just couldn't see any pictures, but that's his Instagram. Suspect. So if anyone wants to look, that's his name. It's actually all lowercase. The Jerry Jones, 3 E's. And it's definitely still up. Oh, man. I don't know if there's anything else on this. Any updates? Let me check. Drop Brian, given the FBI deleted GPS data from his phone. Right, I don't know. Looks like I got it all here. Just seeing if there's any other clips that I missed. Models rejected accused stabbing suspect's proposal, or crime spree. Man accused in Massachusetts stabbing spree shows signs of mental illness. You think that you're not going to get away with it for that? Let me check out this model thing just for a minute, because.
And then I just felt that I have to leave. I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I just left. That's all. He invited me to some party in the same day in Malibu and some events, but I just didn't feel that I want to go. And it was a good call.
A bizarre story out of Massachusetts is getting weirder and weirder as we learn more about the alleged
I hadn't
suspect.
heard anything about
Police
this.
say he went on a stabbing spree at a McDonald's and a movie theater before he was captured. His strange behavior also included a marriage proposal to a model right after he met her.
About that, Penny.
We're talking with her about this odd situation. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime.
Man.
I'm Elizabeth Milner. 26-year-old Martha's Vineyard resident Jared Ravizza was in a courtroom this week as he's accused of stabbing multiple people at two separate
I'm just looking to see
locations over
the
weekend.
statement from
According
the girl.
to police, Ravizza went into an AMC movie theater in Braintree, Massachusetts.
Because this girlfriend, apparently he claims that she rejected him before this spree, a little bit before. So I don't know if this has something to do with it mentally or not, getting rejected.
And stabbed 4 girls. A mom of one of the girls says that the victims were between the ages of 9 and 17 years old and were the only people in the theater at the time when Ravizza came in. She told CBS News, quote, they had just sat down. They had gotten their concessions. I guess he came up behind them. They were in the second row. He came up behind them. My oldest leaned over to get something. He got her in the back.
Ugh.
My other daughter in the chest. My last daughter across her arm, laughing the whole time. Then their friend and ran off. The 2 older girls chased him outside. Then they realized what was going on. Thankfully, all the girls have
2 of them
non-life-threatening
chased him.
injuries. A movie employee said suspect gone in without buying a ticket and was oversized trench coat and
Felony
this.
tampering,
After the stabbing, he
evidence
took off,
destruction.
but surveillance video was able to capture a license plate number. Then just about an hour later, there was a report of a second attack at a McDonald's in Plymouth. Police say Ravizza got into an argument with a male employee.
If you guys are talking about that treadmill one, I never watched any info on that because I knew it was probably going to traumatize me. Just by the thumbnail, I couldn't watch it.
At the drive-thru after he urinated outside his SUV. Ravizza reportedly lunged at the man with a long knife, stabbing him in the forearm.
Skip ahead,
The
'cause we
criminal
know this
complaint says
part.
Ravizza then parked and went inside the
We've
McDonald's,
seen a bunch
stabbing
of
a
clips
female
of that,
employee.
so let's see if we can.
His social media pages are full of selfies and photos showing off his physique and personal style. And last year, he managed to get himself involved as part of a photo shoot, according to the woman behind the clothing line. Model Alona Shakova was having a photo shoot for her chic brand on April 14th of 2023 at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She says he weaseled his way into the photo shoot, promising that he could help promote her brand with his huge social media following. Shakova posted a video of her and Ravizza wearing pink sweatshirts on her social media pages. Ravizza reportedly invited her to the hotel pool where he began hitting on her and
Interesting
even
outfit.
proposing that they get married right away and have kids. She spoke about her experience
Very
with Ravizza
interesting
on Instagram
fashion
after he was
statement that
arrested.
was.
I'm horrified by news this morning. I didn't think it's a real story when I started got a lot of hate comments on my post, and especially with the post with Jared Ravizza. But when this morning I got a message from New York reporter, I Googled the news and I'm in shock.
I just want to take a brief pause out of this story to bring you a law crime legal alert. If you don't know, incognito track users data
Lord,
without their knowledge.
being embedded
But there is a
things
great team
is-
to help. Massword Alliance, one of our legal sponsors, to help users.
Premium, dang
I
it.
just want to thank you so much for joining us today. We're discussing your pretty terrifying area. I want to first you. How are you doing?
I'm better. I just feel so blessed that I'm alive and every day taking life as a gift, especially in moments like this.
For sure. And can you walk me through what happened? Where and how did you first come across Jared Ravizza?
It was in April 14, 2023. It was in Beverly Hills Hotel. I was making embroidery for hoodies for my brand. And he came.
She said Beverly Hills Hotel.
He asked what I'm doing. And he was very interested about that. He said he can model it for me and he can help me to advertise, post on his social media. He said he has a big following and he know a lot of people from fashion, some stores where my stuff gonna be nice to sell, like in Hamptons and around New York, Newport. And I was excited about that. I thought it's a nice opportunity for me as a person who came in America not a long time ago and just started to develop business. I would love to do it. And we made video, pictures. He posted, he tagged me.
Interesting pink beaded hat.
And he invited me to sit near a pool. We sit near a pool and just talk. And then I just felt I have to leave. I didn't feel comfortable. And I just left. That's all. He invited me to some party in the same day in Malibu and some events, but I just didn't feel that I want to go. And it was a good call.
And talk
He
to
might
me a
even
little
have
bit
more
about
money
why you
than I
did feel
thought.
uncomfortable kind of during
Family.
your exchange with him.
Just not my energy and just something didn't resonate with me, the energy.
Something
Very
felt a little off.
I felt like aggressive and not really kind. And I felt, okay, I'm going home.
She said she felt like he was aggressive and not.
Just mentioned he was trying to model for the line. Was he able to kind of get into any photos? Did he try to push his way into kind of what you were doing for work? Talk to me a little bit more about that part.
Yes, that's why I was interested. We did pictures in hoodies, what I just made embroidery and videos, and we posted pictures in reel. And he tagged me, and that's what happened.
Yeah. And talk to me about what led up to the proposal. And I even saw one report where was it like kind of out of the blue? And he even suggested that you two have children on your first meetup with him?
No, not like that. It was more like a joke. When he invited me to sit near pool, he said how many connections he have and how it will be nice for my brand to develop it together. And he started.
So he tried to sounds like he tried to pick her up with all his connections and money.
Tell me about his family, his last vacation with a dad, and show me.
Being from a privilege and everything, it sounds like he's probably used to getting what he wants.
Pictures and all houses what he has, and he said he gonna.
Chaotic are you talking about another case? Assaulting his father before that, he was tied to kinetic homicide.
To be a good husband for me, and I'm gonna be a good wife for him, something like that, but more like a job.
And was he at all friendly during your conversation with him?
Pretty friendly, but I felt some aggressive energy inside. Like maybe because he was too pushy, or maybe just because his personality. I just met him the first time, so I don't know how he normally acts. That's why I felt like
she got bad vibes.
Okay, thank you for taking me. I'm going. I just read our conversation a year ago, and he texted me his room, and thanks God I didn't go to his room. So I just saw him just in the public places.
And I know you have a pretty big social media following yourself. Have you ever seen him on Instagram or any other social platforms before your encounter with him in person?
No, to be honest, I never saw him. But after I post a reel with him, it get a lot of views and a lot of comments, especially after what happened. I got a lot of hate and just crazy messages all over my post. And
look what Chaotic says. Last month on Martha's Vineyard, police charged Jared Ravizza with assault and battery on a family household member and vandalizing property. Yeah, I'd like to see his criminal history. This was kind of done on a whim.
That people just wishing me to die and that I'm supporting this guy, but I'm not supporting this guy. It just happened, and that's all. And weird messages from some random guys about my taste for guys, and good luck with that. Like, great, thank you.
You don't look right in that picture. Look at his eyes. That looks psycho.
What do you know about my taste? That's crazy. People crazy. And when I post a video with him, some my clients and followers saw, and they said, "Oh, I think I know this guy." Like a lot of people told me that they know him. I didn't.
Connections.
I didn't know him before.
Money connections.
So was he kind of like a controversial figure prior to the alleged incidents and the alleged crimes that he's accused of committing this year? Was he kind of controversial last year as well too, or was it after the stabbings that you got these DMs and these flood of hate?
After. Before it was just views and nothing crazy, just regular.
And that time at the hotel, was that the last time you ever spoke to him, or did you guys exchange maybe numbers and started texting or anything like that? Or was that the last and final time you ever saw and spoke to him?
We exchanged numbers, we text, but for very little bit, he sent me some pictures and I sent him some pictures of him, what he can post. So we just talk about that and not really stay in touch.
And it was all about the clothing brand, I assume, not just to get you on a date or anything like that.
He invited me somewhere, but I didn't go.
And first heard about the crimes he's alleged to have committed, what through your mind after hearing
comments under that reel, and I didn't think it's real. I thought like it's all crazy people, they always send crazy messages. It's absolutely okay. Maybe some people got mad with him, maybe something happened, maybe conflict. I didn't know it's real. I didn't believe it's real. And reports started to me, and I googled news and there news. I was
looking now. I suck at looking at this. Let me see.
I couldn't believe that it really can happen like that close, and just absolutely horrified me, and I was in shock, and I felt so lucky that I'm still alive.
I'm glad you are as well too. Did you ever get a sense that you could have been one of his victims?
To be honest, I didn't.
Can you put it in the group chat, Chaotic?
Maybe like from my brain, I felt like sense God, but I felt it was pretty long time ago. We met in April 2023. I felt like he probably has some issues and maybe some mental health problems and maybe problems with drugs, and they just maybe make him absolutely crazy. It happened. It's so sad that all that stuff legal in California, and a lot of people just getting crazy with drugs.
I want it open.
And I thought maybe he just got crazy with that stuff, but in the moment when we met and in the moment when I saw his last posts in Instagram, just check his Instagram and he looked absolutely different. In the moment when we met, he didn't wear that feminine clothes, no manicure, no makeup, and he just changed a lot.
What the hell?
But I felt something very, very weird, and I felt like a lot of aggression.
I might close this one in a second. Let me find it. I got so many tabs right now. Tabs up the yin yang.
As a single girl in new country, I'm trying to protect myself, and I'm just trying to stay away from all weird people. But for California, it's
okay. That's enough for her. Let's see. Okay, let's see the article that was just sent to me about something this dude did recently. Wish I could get rid of this. Taking up all the room. Yeah, I can't scroll that. It's hard to see. It says, frothing at the mouth. Jared Ravizza accused in Martha's Vineyard assault weeks before the stabbings. Jared Ravizza is accused of assaulting his father on Martha's Vineyard weeks before prosecutors allege he went on a weekend stabbing spree on the South Shore and before he was tied to a Connecticut homicide investigations, court documents show. Last month on Martha's Vineyard, police charged Jared Ravizza with assault and battery on a family household member and vandalizing property, according to a criminal complaint filed by West Tisbury Police in Edgartown. That means Martha's Vineyard. Ravizza 26. Oh, wow. 26 of Chilmark on Martha's Vineyard. Oh, wow. My brother got married on Chilmark. He was ordered held on Tuesday morning pending a competency hearing as requested by his defense attorney, Sean O'Neill, following his arraignment in Plymouth District Court on charges stemming from Saturday's stabbing incident in Plymouth. He is charged with armed assault to murder, 2 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, and he is getting indecent exposure. See, I was wondering if he would get indecent exposure for whipping out his dinghy to take a pee in the parking lot. I figured they'd add that charge on there. He's accused. I didn't know it would happen so quickly. He's accused of stabbing 4 girls at a Braintree movie theater and 2 McDonald's employees on Route 3 rest area in Plymouth before crashing his Porsche and sandwich on Cape Cod on Saturday. Ravizza is accused of publicly urinating in the McDonald's drive-thru in Plymouth, stabbing 2 employees there. Wow. He's also charged with 4 counts of assault to murder and 4 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon in connection with Saturday's stabbing and incident in Braintree. He'll be those charges in Quincy District Court at a later time. Okay, so he also has to go to Quincy for the Braintree one. For the movie theater, he's going to have to go to Braintree, but the other one will be in Plymouth, and then he might get sent to. He's probably going to get sent to Connecticut for the murder one. Weeks earlier, on Sunday, April 14th, around 2:40 a.m., West Tisbury Police, which is Martha's Vineyard, were called to a state road address for a report of domestic assault and battery and property damage. When police arrived, they found Ravizza's father, who told officers that his son Jared has had a mental attack, the police wrote in their criminal complaint. When officers went inside, they knocked on Jared Ravizza's bedroom door and he opened it and he seemed clearly intoxicated, police wrote. So, before I read on, he's 26 years old. He was in bedroom, they say. He was still living with in the house he was in with that guy he murdered. He was there for 2 weeks. Sounds like he's used to living off of parents' money. Back to the vehicle. Responding, officers asked Ravizza what happened. He approached the officers and began to scream, "Cuff me," police wrote. 2 officers called for an additional unit to respond. Ravizza then began speaking to us about nonsensical things such as the deep state and claiming that his family helped start the country with John Adams. But that his father didn't love him and that his father wanted him dead, police wrote. He also included such groups as the Masons in his rants. Mr. Ravizza began screaming that he hopes his father dies and began frothing out the mouth as he spoke, police wrote in their report. What the fuck? Police later took Jared into a police cruiser to Martha's Vineyard Hospital for a mental health evaluation. His father, the alleged victim, told police that he tried to block his son's violent behavior towards him, and he suffered scratches on his face and thumb. Police noted fresh marks on his face, thumbs, and wrists. The father also told officers that his upstairs office was wrecked because of Mr. Ravizza's violent outbursts. Upstairs, police noted bureaus knocked over, documents scattered on the floor, a broken door, and stools that had been thrown across the room and had damaged the walls. You spoiled little brat. A short time later at a Martha's Vineyard hospital, police signed a form to involuntarily hold Jared Ravizza at the hospital. He was examined by a mental health professional who told officers he did not meet their standards to be held, police wrote. He was discharged from the hospital and then booked at the Dukes County Jail. Ravizza's father declined to get a protection order, police wrote. Boston 25 has reached out to the Ravizza's family for comment about Saturday's events and the reported assault on the vineyard. Check back for updates. Very interesting. Frothing at the mouth. Okay, something that stood out to me here. Let me see. One thing I want to know, when he went to mental hospital, this is important. It will probably be used against him too. Did not meet their standards to be held. He was discharged from that mental hospital and then booked at the Dukes County Jail. So that's already one time that they said he didn't meet the standards to be held for being mental after that incident. So that could go against him too, I would think. That shit is crazy. You know, who knows what they've been used to living, living like with this dude. He sounds like an absolute psycho. Frothing at the mouth. What would cause somebody to froth at the mouth? I mean, I've seen it with a seizure disorder, but not being psycho or having like screaming or whatever. That's just weird. I don't fully understand that. Being so worked up. That's insanity, man. Whew. Anything else we got to add to this? Let me think. I think that pretty much sums up that story. I mean, I have another one. I could come back and do another one. I would just have to separate it or have a panel or something. It's all up to y'all. I don't know if anyone else is going live or if we're just bored and hanging out, but I'm open to other things. I'm open to doing another one. Rabies. Yeah, you're right. Rabies could do that. That's probably the first thing I think of when I hear frothing at the mouth. Do you have rabies? Rabies or seizure? That's just weird. Now I gotta find my StreamYard. Okay, there we are. There we are. That is so freaking weird. Watch for updates on that. Thank you for that article. I found that very interesting. I'd like to see his history and background and, how many times or if at all that he's been arrested. I bet he has a history of it. I bet he has a history of it. I'm looking at some of the stuff in my StreamYards and I'm very disappointed in myself that I've been so busy that I haven't got to utilize my lovely tiger pendants because I see a picture of my StreamYard right now. I just realized that. That is very disappointing of me. But, I've been gardening and stuff. Enjoying my birthday weekend, my birthday. I just wanted to say that for Fluffy if she's still listening because we like to say birthday. Appreciate that, Chaotic, again. And what do you think? Does anyone know if there's anything set up or anything? Y'all just want to hang out? I could do sherbet. Good food. I think rabies is the number one I think of. Yeah. Are you still here, Tracy? Renee? Should I do another one? Separate one? Could do another story, but I just need a small break. I gotta get me some more coffee. We could do a hangout stream, but I'm not really sure. I would say check back. I might come back if nothing else is on. If y'all, are down for that, I could do that potentially. I guess that's about sums up that one. Freaking crazy. I just can't understand. Yeah. All right. So I really got to consider. I think going to the court, that could be interesting. I'll have to look into that and what they're going to allow and stuff. If it's going to be televised, if the news is going to be allowed in there, if they're going to limit. Like I said, I do know after I've been in that court myself that he's in, and I do know that's a court that allows phones. So that's pretty cool. Party 'cause it's your birthday. I was hiding on that weekend, but it's a good weekend. It's a good weekend because I always, it's like there's always block parties and stuff going on, cool stuff. It's usually the kickoff here, like the unofficial kickoff to summer. That's when they start charging the parking lots at the beach. So it's like our summer now. Our summer season on this island has started. Case number 2, come back. That was my original interesting case I found just to, tell people about because I thought, man, this woman's story needs to be heard. It's just, it's amazing. It's really amazing. And this whole thing wasn't planned, but naturally when some shit like this goes down in your area, you're not going to not talk about it. You know what I'm saying? This guy went on a freaking crime spree and stabbed up a bunch of people. So obviously I was going to bring that up. I mean, he already, like I said, he made it to freaking Nancy Grace. Not going to not talk about that. So I had to bump my other one out of the way that I had planned. Chaotic says it's illegal to film in courts without press pass and prior approved by the judge. Yeah. It'd be more about hanging out then with the news and trying to watch for him to be transported and try to film that, when they transport them in. But obviously they'll probably bring him out back. I don't know if they'll hold him at the jail next door. There's a jail directly next to that courthouse. I don't know if they'll put him in there or he'll already be in the back. They'll probably bring him in a different exit. Point to go in where people can't see him. But sometimes the news catches people going in. They like to ask them questions. Oh, yeah, it pretty much is. So that's why I like to work on my yard and make it feel all tropical in the summer. I do a hell of a lot of flowers and stuff. I go a bit crazy. Hummingbirds. Like I said, I build all my waterfalls. I only got one done because I take them down in the winter. So I still have 2 more to build. I like waterfalls everywhere for peace, plants, shit like that. Tunnel system. I'm not sure about tunnel. I'm not sure. I just know the jail's literally next door. But I think he'll probably come in transport because he might even be coming from Bridgewater to go there for 20 days. That 20-day evaluation. And like I said, if anyone wants to look up Bridgewater State Hospital, it's my favorite people that have been there. They all say it's the worst one, strictest, locked. He's not a good time, that's for sure. For press, that's a good idea. It's did Bullhorn a press pass? What, can you print those? Can I pretend I'm press? Because I have those plastic pouches that they go in. And I have badge reels because I make badge reels. So, I can try to look professional. I will make myself a shirt. I can make myself a shirt that says press. I can try to look official. I will make myself the official press, fake press. Even fake press on my shirt. Do that. They probably won't want anything to do with them after the 20 days. Probably not. Probably not. Sorry, I have to go clean up. Okay. All right. Hey, you were still here. I thought you were already gone. But good luck with that. Everything is going well, Fluffy. I might, if you heard, I might another one. I'm gonna get like a coffee refill, a couple things. Just feel a little dangerous if anyone's bored. Another one if everyone's bored. If nothing else is on, because I haven't been on in a while. Haven't been chatting in a while. Or even people. I like to do commentary. If anyone comment with it, that's always fun. Press. So feel free to think about that and wants to comment on as we go along. Pretty cool. So come back and do company. All right. Then look for me shortly. And in the event that there's something else on or someone else has a live that I don't know about, then that's will be the deciding factor, of course. But it's almost 1 o'clock right now. So if I do, it will probably be close to 1. I just need a quick coffee and everything. So I'm thinking about it, as I said, as long as nothing else is on. So I will. Let's see. I don't have anything funny set up yet. Yeah. All right. I'll hit my music and I'll probably see you all soon. Thank you for coming. I got another story for you in a few minutes. So I'll see you. Bye.
There's a monster under my bed, and at my window there's a dragon. I accepted the challenge, it turned me into a savage. I broke a promise to myself again. I don't know why I am so vulnerable. They try to help, but I won't let them in. I guess rock bottom's where I'm comfortable. Both my feet planted when most people would have panicked. I embraced the storm. I found beauty in what was damaged. I'm not afraid of the boogeyman. Instead I look at him like he's a friend. There's not a monster out there in the world. They're scarier than the one that's within.
I'm hoping to do a fishing live soon too. I want to go out in the ocean.
Him rumbling around, the demon screaming in the distance. such a humbling sound. The monster that's outside my window, he's like family to me now.
Hey Zep, I'm gonna come back and do another live in a few minutes.
Never let me down.
Not to say this, no, but I'm hated so. My religious freaks say I'm the biggest beast and that I made it grow. When I spray this flow, I created more. Creatures are like when I heat up the mic, I'm a breed of the night, but I'm tainted though. By the darkness, I'm binded. I sparked it and shined it. They find it, cause mine is woe. But that they label me a demon seed. Wanna disable, need to see them bleed. Hinder me fatally and see them grieve, no. You would not believe the creature inside me. If you deceive, Khalifa's lively. We disagree when people defy me or try to take his. Whatever the fuckery toward them, you don't wanna wake this. You forsake his with a sacred, then it's over no matter what your faith is. I'm a creature.
There's a creature in my closet. I can hear him rumbling around. The demon screaming in the distance creates such a humbling sound. The monster that's outside my window, he's like family to me now. The things that people are afraid of never let me down.
I managed to get myself in trouble, all of this pain. Yeah, I'm damning the dope, but dose of liquor's always to blame. If I could keep myself sober, I keep my hands.
I'm trying to say I'll see some of you soon. My comment keeps getting rejected as spam, so see you soon.
I hope I don't pass it down to my offspring.
See you in a few minutes.
Everything from the daddy, feel like I'm addicted to all things. There's no reason to change, gone too far now. And I'm stuck in my ways, back at the bar now. They say I'm a bird and they right, I ain't perfect, alright. So when I'm thirsty and perking and purposely searching for something that's hurting me so I just can't back up and go. I just back out of it slow. That's how it go. I knock the back out the hole. What next like I don't know. Okay. I think you be laughing at me, hands be grabbing at me. Feel like God let it happen till we dab it glass for me and these be a dab it naturally. Okay, yeah. I think I better let it go. Either that or I gotta let it know. And I can't do that.
There's a creature in my closet. I can hear him rumbling around. The demon screaming in the distance creates such a humbling sound. The monster that's outside my window, he's like family to me now. The things that people are afraid of never let me down.